Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Chester. My name is Chester and today I'm here to give you an update on Bitcoin. First things first, we're going to start off with the short term for Bitcoin, then we'll jump into the mid term for Bitcoin, and then we're going to be jumping to the long term for Bitcoin. At this point in time, I am potentially looking for a nice little long trade here, but I am looking for a bit of a retracement in the price to get to that point, right? As you can see here, let's start off with the short term on the hourly time frame here. As you can see, we do have this pretty giant symmetrical triangle playing out here, and it is very attractive indeed. We've got nice touches continuously. There's a lot of confirmation that it's going to play out successfully, right? If we were looking for a measure move to play out from this symmetrical triangle in terms of a long trade, right, in terms of this symmetrical triangle on this on the short term time frame here at the 1 hour, we were looking at something along the lines of this, right? Pretty big in my opinion, and there's a lot of resistance coming down from the top side, stopping us getting there in terms of a lot of horizontal resistance points to get over on the hourly chart here. I know quite a few YouTubers that actually were like, as soon as we break this triangle, we're gonna get in a long position. And for me personally, it didn't look good on the midterm time frame here, and this is why I did not enter my position. And I am currently waiting for us to come down, have a potential retest of this 10 moving average that we've got coming up here, and also we do have the 55 moving average coming up here. And also, I want a retest of this symmetrical triangle playing out here on the midterm here for Bitcoin before I can look at any sort of entry there for Bitcoin. And I was pretty happy I did that, because if I'd have jumped in early this morning, then we would have had a potential stop out if we were going to go tight inside of this symmetrical triangle here. So yeah, definitely something to think about in terms of waiting for that entry, being patient, because when we see a pump like this with Bitcoin, right, when we see a pretty colossal pump like this, we always do see that sort of retracement, right? We always do see that sort of retracement, and that is why we're looking for that good juicy entry point there for our long. Ideally, we want the price to get down to around 37,800 for a really good entry for us to go long there, and that basically means that we should come down to this level of support sat around that 37,800. As you can see, we do find a bit of resistance off that point as well, so that would be a place to watch in terms of whether we are going to see the reversal in the trend there as well. Right now, in terms of what's happening on the MACD here, as I said this morning on my live stream this morning, we do have these two trend cycles playing out on the MACD here. This one is obviously heavily respected in terms of these downtrends here, in terms of this support line coming through here. So yeah, we can actually basically near enough plot out where this trend is going to get to and how big it's going to be. And to be honest with you, it looks pretty flaccid indeed, like it's not going to do a lot. And hopefully for the next next day or so, no, probably not next, yeah, around the next day or so, we are going to see quite a few flaccid trends there before we do see a breakout to either the downside or the top side, right? If we can plan that perfectly, we will be looking for a potential long position to come through. But at this current time, for the MACD here, we have seen that bearish crossover play out, and we do need to see that reversal, see that resistance off this 10 moving average playing out here on the 1 hour time frame for Bitcoin, right? And in order for us to see that downward spike, to see that trend basically continue here, that's what's going to basically bring the price down to this around this point here, where we're looking for that potential long position here on Bitcoin here on the midterm. Right now on the RSI, RSI right now for Bitcoin on the short term, we were actually pretty overextended this morning, and I said, look, the ideal scenario is for us to have a consolidation period to fizzle out, to get this RSI lower, so then we can actually talk about the potential for another leg up from there, right? And yes, we fizzled down, and we're around near enough back to where we were in terms of the flaccid point of the RSI. Not a lot going on there, so we do need to wait potentially for it to come down a bit more before we have another leg up there. Ideally, we do want it to come down a bit more in terms of the buying power on the RSI here, and then once that's happened, we could be looking at a lovely bounce from here if we do get to a nice level on the RSI here, where we could be looking at some sort of reversal there. So yeah, definitely something to think about in terms of the RSI there, in terms of trading Bitcoin. But the key point for this video here today is to talk cleanly about this long position, right? So if I'm just going to jump to the midterm there for Bitcoin, and I can just talk pretty fluidly about this long position that we've got coming through here, which is, as you can see here, we do have this symmetrical triangle playing out pretty strongly indeed, as discussed on the short-term time frame. We do have a measure move coming through, something along the lines of this. If we're looking for that breakout, it would be around this point here. We would be looking at a potential trade going up to around this sort of level. Obviously, we do have pretty crucial levels of resistance there to think about as well, and that's obviously how we're going to manage our trade. But in terms of percentage for that, we are looking for just over 11% for that trade there. Very nice indeed. Obviously, on speculation of where the EMA ribbon goes long, and also how low can we get in terms of this reversing the price, reversing this trend. But as you can see on this live right now, on this live trend we've got coming through, on this live candle that we're coming through for the next hour, if we close the next 4 hourly candle here above this below this lower high that we got forming here, we are going to see that trend reversal to the downside, right? Potentially signifying that we are going to come down to this lower side here, and then we could be looking at a potential long position to the upside from there. But yeah, in terms of percent for that long position, as just discussed, that is literally near enough, or just over 11% there. So very, very nice indeed. Definitely something to think about in terms of trading Bitcoin in the long term. But a crucial point to also watch here is the RSI, because as you can see here, if you are familiar with this channel here, if you are an OG out here and you have been here since the beginning, you can see that we do have this pretty dominant, trend line that we do reference on the RSI here in terms of the midterm here for Bitcoin. And as you can see, if we do lose it, we do see that heavy resistance continuously, right? We do see that heavy resistance always to the downside in terms of selling power, right? So yeah, this is definitely something to think about if we are going to come down and we are going to test the top side of it, right? Granted, yes, it is crossing across the central point for the RSI, so that does essentially mean we could be finding our first pretty juicy big level of support on it, and then hopefully riding up something along the lines of that. And that's basically an initiation to watch when we see that reversal in the price coming through on the live price of Bitcoin, basically looking for our entry, right? If we can see this price basically retract, it's going to basically signify on the RSI that we are going to come down and we're going to be testing this juicy point here. So that's another thing to look at when we are looking for our entry there. If we are looking like we're going to find support on it and we are seeing that reversal in the price in terms of buying power, it is going to be good indeed. And also we're going to correlate that with the EMA ribbon and these moving average and the top side of this downward sloping currently support line. But yeah, the top side of the symmetrical triangle we've got playing out here as well. So yeah, a few things are coming together. And there's basically a lot of signs saying that we are going to be looking for a nice juicy bounce point at around that zone there, right? In terms of the MACD right now, in terms of the MACD right now for Bitcoin on the midterm, as you can see, we do have this downward trend cycle coming through here. So if we are going to see this bearish crossover happen anytime soon, to be honest, we're still far away in terms of the moving averages here on the MACD here. We are pretty far away in terms of looking for that bearish crossover to see that reverse in the trend. But as I was just saying, the further that this trend cycle will go, the less likely we are to respect it if we do get a few days down the line and stuff like that, right? But if we do see a bearish crossover happening soon, we know we're going to have this level of support to basically take into consideration if we are going to see that reversal. Potentially, if we are in a long position already and it hasn't happened yet, we can be looking at that in terms of potentially a rejection point from this horizontal resistance point at this 40,431 there, which is basically sits at the top side of this lower high point, which is crucial that we need to get over, right? And also referencing back to that trade there, that just over 11% trade that we will be going for. And obviously nothing I say is financial advice, but yeah, just do your own research before entering these trades, right? But yeah, so this is a crucial point to get over. It is these lower highs coming through here that we do need to get over in order to see that insane reverse in the trend. Obviously, at this point in time, we are setting these high lows continuously, looking very, very nice indeed in terms of progression, in terms of uptrend. But yeah, so I would be looking at taking a nice juicy amount of profit at this horizontal resistance point here, because we are going to definitely see some resistance. As you can see in previous history, it has been pretty continuous in terms of resistance from that point there. So it's definitely something to take into account there. And also the next point would be this crucial lower high where we saw that insane dump to the downside, that insane panic sell off from there, right? So yeah, few things to take into account in terms of take profit points as we go up. I mean, if you were looking for a completion of the measure move, in my opinion, I wouldn't be so greedy to go for that. I would literally just take probably 65% profit at around this just under 7% there. And then the rest of the trade, I would be closing it just under 10% there, because if you're really going to hold out for literally like a 1% trade there when you've already got that risk of all the resistance coming through here at the top side, I mean, in my opinion, that's not a very good decision. I do think you should be getting out, taking that profit around that 9.8% there. Very, very nice indeed, because you are likely to see resistance as just discussed, as these dominant resistance points have shown that in previous history, right? So yeah, that's going to be the juicy trade that I would be looking at and will be looking at over the next few hours or so. And if I can grab a nice 9% there, then that's going to be very, very good indeed. Obviously, that is on predication that we do hold this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI here. So yeah, it's definitely a good place to watch there, right? Very, very good place to watch. And also, I would be watching the EMA ribbon coming through here, because if we can get a nice signal from that, granted, every signal isn't amazing, but it's just another indication to show that we could be looking for a nice long position there. So yeah, and obviously, all of the moving averages from the EMA ribbon there are actually pretty coiled up. Let me get rid of that. They are pretty coiled up here, so we are literally waiting imminently for that crossover there, for that long position to be opened in terms of the EMA ribbon. So yeah, definitely another thing to think about when trading Bitcoin on the midterm there. And now let's jump to the long term right now. The reason why I've jumped to the long term right now is because we are actually looking at descending triangle on the long term, right? Descending triangle on the long term on the daily here. So that obviously means it's a daily one. So it's got quite a lot of juice coming through here, quite a lot of stability in terms of the chart pattern that we've got coming through here. If we are looking for a measure move from that in terms of a long position as well, we would be looking at something along the lines of this, and that is an indication that we could be coming up to around this 200 zone here, and that's basically another reason to be taking profit at these lower high points, because they correlate, as you can see here. That is at 41,996 here. They are correlating with literally this high point coming through here, right? So yeah, it's another reason why we wouldn't be waiting for that extension, that measure move in terms of this mid-term time frame trade for Bitcoin there, but we would be taking full profit at this sort of zone coming through here, because just in case we do see a swift rejection on the long term here. And also we do have this 21 moving average coming down as well, this yellow one coming down as well. So we do need to think about taking some profit there as well. Obviously, we're going to manage this position when it is open, but at this point in time, we are looking for that bounce down on this descending triangle for that entry point, for that progression to the upside. In terms of a percent for this trade, it is literally the same sort of thing as the midterm there, because it is near enough the same trade, but just a different chart pattern there. So it's another signal that this trade is going to play off in terms of stars aligning and all of that good stuff there. But yeah, all good stuff indeed. I mean, worst case scenario, if we do see a rejection in terms of this being a trap coming over this downwards, in terms of this being a trap coming over this descending triangle coming through here, I would be looking at this 10 moving average with BDIs in a sense, right? I would be looking at this to see if we do hold the level of support which we currently have on that. And as you can see, if we did lose that, we would see some resistance coming down from there, as you can see here playing out in previous chart history. And as I said before, the low of that would be that 34,500 zone to think about in terms of a test to the lower side of this descending triangle coming through. So yeah, guys, that is your BTC update. That's a potential trade, long position for you guys to think about. Obviously, do your own research there. But yeah, definitely something to consider there. And yeah, if you like the video, guys, smash that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. I haven't live streamed this afternoon because my wisdom teeth are coming through and they're absolutely killing me. As a lot of the OGs know that. Yeah, so taking a little break. But I will be happy to see you guys in the morning, bright and early, for a nice probably 1 to 2 hours, 1 to 2 hour long stream. So yeah, guys, if you like the content, smash that subscribe button, smash that notification bell, smash that like button. Helps me out tremendously. Obviously, being a new YouTuber on the block. But yeah, peace out again from me, and goodbye from me, Crypto Chester.